The very first thing you'll need is pretty self-explanatory, but you need a version of Python installed on your computer. Certain operating systems, like on Mac, already come with a version of Python pre-installed, which is called Python 2. But for the sake of these tutorials, we'll be using Python 3, which is the newest, most updated version of Python. The next thing we need is something called an IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment. It's basically just a place where you can put all of your code. You could technically code in something like Notepad or even Microsoft Word, but the reason that people use IDEs is that it highlights your text in certain colors, it shows you where errors are or where things could go wrong. Basically, it's a lot more helpful and customizable to use an IDE. For the sake of these tutorials, I'll be using something called Visual Studio Code. You can get this for any operating system if you scroll down here on the Visual Studio website. And it's very useful because there's an option when you're installing to be able to add it to your path. You don't necessarily need to know what this is right now, but just know to check this option while you're installing it. Now that we have Python installed and VS Code installed, we should be able to start coding, right? Well, we first need to do one thing of going to the Extensions tab here and installing the Python extension. This will allow us to code in Python. The other extension you should get is called Code Runner, which will allow you to run your code within VS Code instead of using some sort of other application like the terminal or the command prompt. While you're here, you can also explore around for other things that might be helpful for you. The customizability of IDEs is really what's so amazing, and if you're going to be there for so long, it's like having a nice customized desk. It's nice to have something organized and convenient for you when you're going to be there for an extended period of time. You can make it look different by installing a theme if you want. For example, I use this one that's based off of Atom, which is another text editor. All right, now you should be able to select on top to make a new Python file. You can choose to save this wherever you want. I'm just going to make a folder on my desktop to be able to put all of these tutorial files into. Now, it's a bit of a tradition when learning to program in a new language to create your first program called Hello World. The reason it's called Hello World is we'll be printing on our screen the words Hello World. The way that you do this in Python is by typing the word print and then opening a parenthesis, and then either in single quotes or double quotes, you can write down within the quotes whatever you want to display. So in this case, we'll write hello space world exclamation point. Now on the top right here, there should be a little icon that looks like a play button to run your code. Press that. And what do you know? Look at that. It says Hello World written by our computer. The next thing I quickly want to mention is something called a comment. Now, when humans are writing code, when you have a small program like this, it's pretty easy to see what is going on. But when you have hundreds, if not thousands of lines in a single file of code, it can get really confusing and hard to keep track of everything. So humans can write down a comment, which is ignored by the file when you're running it, to be able to show other people or show yourself a little description of what you wrote. In Python, you do this by typing a hashtag, and you can see here that the text gets all grayed out when you start writing a comment. And then after the hashtag, you can write whatever you want.